One of the areas in which most insurance agencies drop the ball is at the very beginning of when a producer is hired. A lot of people who come into the industry to an insurance agency, they might have sales as a background, but they don't have insurance as a background. And even some of those that have a sales background, usually it might be for half a year, and so forth. So, with regards to like not understanding insurance and then not really having an insurance sales background, that's a bit of a struggle for a lot of agents who come in, which is why so many of them struggle at ever validating and they never even get to $100,000 of gross commission written, let alone $250,000, so that they can substantiate themselves in this career going forward. And so it's important for both profitability and for the career of the insurance producer to get them to $100,000 of commission as quickly as possible. Also, unfortunately and sadly, is that a lot of insurance agencies don't have the training mechanism set up in their agency in order to really spend the time training up these producers as they could and should be trained up. And that's why I've created the Permission Producer School, because I know that insurance producers need a firm foundation from point to point to point in order to actually have the success that they want for themselves going forward, and so that they can become very profitable to your agency. And so we have our first cohort coming up October 14th to October 18th, and it's going to last for about 3 hours every single day. So this is Monday through Friday. It's going to last for 3 consecutive hours every single day. It's going to be about 15 hours of intensive sales training. It's going to be a virtual cohort, so your employees don't have to leave the comforts of your agency. They can just spend the 3 hours and then go back to doing whatever it is that you're having them do there. It's important that this is done for a number of different reasons, but this is, I think, one of the most important things is that if an insurance producer doesn't have a plan from start to finish on what it is that they're going after, what they are targeting, what their differentiation is, and so forth, they lack confidence. That lack of confidence comes forward before the prospects. They then have a hard time setting appointments. They don't actually win any business. They don't make any money. And so having a structured process that is personalized for each of your producers is needed for them to have success. And we have to get them to $100,000 of gross commission as quickly as possible so that they can substantiate their existence even at your agency. Then what we want them is to scale to get to the $250,000 amount as quickly as possible, because then we know that they're going to be in the insurance business for the rest of their lives. So this particular producer school is focused on the new and newer agents who are getting into the sales side. These might be agents who are brand new into the industry and they don't have any kind of a background. It's going to be sales focused for them. It's going to be very helpful. This is also helpful for some people who've been in the business maybe 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and they just really need now to kind of get back to the basics, create something that is structured for themselves, that actually works so that their wheels aren't spinning as much. You can also utilize this for account managers who are trying to go maybe into a hybrid role, or maybe are also trying to become producers themselves into the future. And frankly, this can be for a sales manager who wants to come in and understand the process so that he or she can take it to the agency going forward. But also at the same time, if somebody has a larger book of business, they've got a seasoned book, but they're trying to just sort of get their mojo back, this might be something for them as well. 5 days long, 3 hours every single day. And then for the 2 weeks after that, we're going to have 2 different scheduled calls where we're going to have a Q&A, where we're kind of taking each of the people who come on these optional calls to find out what it is that they've set up and how they've set up their script and their differentiation. What is their micro niche going about? What does their 12-month timeline of services look like, and so forth. We're going to be doing role play rather. We're going to be putting people on the hot seat. Your producers are going to get a lot out of this. But at the end of the process, what they are going to have is a personalized system that works for them based upon their own unique strengths and weaknesses, based upon your agency, the carriers that you're appointed with, your geographic territory. Are you in South Dakota or maybe more of a metropolitan area like Chicago, Illinois? It's going to be based upon the strengths of your producer and your agency. So this is going to be a cohort, and it's going to be $497 for per producer, $497. If an agency wants to bring in 3 producers, I'll do the 3 producers for $997 total. Otherwise, it's $497 per producer in the cohort. The next time I have this, probably maybe in December or sometime after January, it's likely going to be about $997 per person. So we're looking at about half the cost now for this first time to go into the Permission Producer School. I would love to have you as a producer come into the producer school, get your systemized plan so that you are confident when you actually do your prospecting. You know what to say, you know how to say it, you know what you're going to say when you go to your first appointment, and how to ask for the carriers and how to get the carrier market access that you want, and frankly even asking for the signed broker of record letter from your prospects and winning the business, even if you go through a quoting process. The Permission Producer School, again, is happening October 14th through October 18th for a 3-hour consecutive period. And then 2 weeks after that, there's going to be a 1-hour Q&A for each of those 2 weeks. Each of the producers who go through it will have access to the full recordings for a month after the producer school is finished. So even if they miss a session, it's still going to be recorded. They'll be able to go back and watch those, take notes, go back and watch them several times so that they have everything dialed in. If you're thinking about going into it, if you're thinking that you need a process, we're only talking $497 in order to get the actual process that is going to be set up for your success going forward. I really hope you take advantage of the opportunity and get signed up as soon as possible. My name is Charles Specht, and I'm looking forward to having you in the Permission Producer School. Take care.